Test. Alright. 3 o'clock.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Not too bad. Excited.
Sweet. I'm setting up the session right now. Do you have any like particular weather you want to do? Like something super slick to get practice in hot weather, or just default, or
Whatever you think is best. That's my. Just I want to learn to get better, so whatever you think is best.
solid? And then what's your just out of curiosity, what's your I rating and like how
Uh,
much I guess experience do you have on here?
so I started back around Thanksgiving. I've been bouncing between 1050 to 1250.
Gotcha.
I used to do a lot of NASCAR Heat back in the day with a controller, and um, then just started doing this more and more.
What kind of wheel do you got?
Mazda or Moza R9.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, same as Conti. That's a good one.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm getting familiar with his setup, and it's different, but I'm getting used to it. So I think it will progress and be better in the future.
Yep, definitely. It's all just muscle memory. Like so, whatever you since you just pretty much started a couple of months ago, it's
Mm-hmm.
your muscle memory isn't like really trained yet at all. So it's good to have new settings now, and then years down the road, you'll just be a master at them.
For sure. Yeah, I'm a big golfer, so I've taken like golf lessons and stuff like that. And uh, I was golfing. I golfed ever since I was like 5 or 6, and then I started taking lessons when I turned like 28, 29. So I had to relearn all that muscle memory. So I figured I'd start earlier, getting some good muscle memory first.
Uh, yeah, I'm just on a Logitech wheel, and it's
Really?
yep. Many people tell me it's a hindrance. Like even some of my teammates and some other Coke Series drivers, they're like begging me to switch over
I
because
know
they
your
think
I
I'll be
rating
much
shows
faster.
your I rating shows a little different than that.
But yeah, like back in 2013 when I first made the Coke series, I was on a plastic 1998 Microsoft Sidewinder wheel,
Really?
and that had like zero force feedback or anything. So then I had a big upgrade for me to go to Logitech G27, and that I've just only used it. So like over 11 years now with nothing but Logitech. So it's my muscle memory is just absolutely screwed to use any other wheel.
Yeah, that would take a little bit to get used to. Again, just hope it just doesn't break or anything. So how long have you been teaching for?
um, well, like over the years, sometimes people would ask, and like I'm always the type that wants to help others, like not even just in sim racing. So anytime somebody asks, I always do it. And as far as Team Conti stuff goes, it's only been probably around the same since you started around Thanksgiving.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yep. All right. The password is going to be 4 zeros. Just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Um, so I'm just under host races, correct?
Yep. It might take a minute to show up. I just hit buy now on the hosted. Usually takes at least a minute, if not a tiny bit more.
Perfect. Now, do you want me to share my screen at all, or can you see?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay.
But for now, it's fine without. Is your goal to make the Coke series and do this professionally one day, or?
No, not at all. I got a 2-year-old, So I don't have much time to do it, but when I do play, I want to see myself progressing, and I was able to kind of progress up through the ranks all the way to A class, and then keep my rating where it was based off of being better at strategy and pitch strategy and safe against other people. But now that's kind of evening out, so I don't see myself progressing as much. So I just want to get better. I would love ultimate goal would be get 2,000 plus. That would be kind of where I would love to end up. But as my wife
Yep,
said, I'm
once
not
you
a
get
driver.
once you get a rhythm down, then you can really go from, I would say, like where you're at now all the way up to around like 4,000, to be honest, and then from there it gets, because then you're gonna almost always be in top splits unless it's like a really stacked one.
Nice.
So then once you hit 4, it's kind of comes down to the details and
Yes.
really fine tuning your stuff to get up into the 5, 6 plus. Alright, I think it should be available now for you to find.
I am joining it now. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking just to get to that level, something to actually be able to compete, not feel bad about myself afterwards, or like just frustrated that I can't get better and people are passing me.
Yeah. Definitely a lot different from what you came from on Heat.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, with Heat, I didn't really do much. I tried to do the online stuff, but it's just, kids, your goal is just not to get wrecked. And then I've got a wheel from somebody. I got a Thrustmaster 150 T150, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try Iracing because I seen it a bunch, and then around Christmas, I'm like, oh, I gotta get a little bit better wheel because I've been enjoying this. And
the one you got now is pretty much already top-notch equipment, so
yeah, I figured I'd jump in to the deep end. All right, I guess ready, not qualifying, just ready to race.
it's a open qualifying here. So usually what I do, especially the first session, is you can just go out around like 3 to 5 laps, just so I can see like where you're at and what your tendencies are and habits, and then we can move on from there. But if you want, you can use just the iRacing Chicagoland setup.
Yeah, so I only have done fixed setups. I don't really do open setups because in open setups I'm like, am I a better driver, or are they a better driver, or is it the setup? So I'd rather just go on an even playing field and just be able to. All right,
Yep, perfect.
one for one. All right, so qualified, and then I'm assuming. Do you want me to share my screen now, or do you want me to just run?
No, it's fine for now. Since it's open, I can watch you in the session right now. I purposely picked the more difficult track here. Yeah, the track temp is pretty up there. Interesting. Because it's default weather, otherwise like the sky temp ambient. That's just AI. Is it an AI hosted like this? Then I can like advance the race and go back to qualifying session and back and forth if we need to. Alrighty, I can pull it off and then I'll show you how I drive a lap and then we can look at the differences and analyze it.
So back out here, go into your...
Yep, you can watch cockpit viewer to review you find most helpful.
So I click on your guy and then or your car.
Yep.
Okay.
And just make sure you're live, which is on the far right, and like all those replay controls.
Oh. All right. There we go.
Sign on the wheel like hell there in 3 and 4, so when you got loose, that's definitely normal. So for me, I actually never even listen for the tires. I know a lot of people say like to focus on that, but again, this could just be muscle memory and all that for me. But I just kind of go on feel with my wheel to be able to tell if the tires are sliding. And like if I hear it and it's very like obvious that I'm sliding them a lot, then I'll kind of use those audio cues, but otherwise I'm more focused on the feel on the wheel and just kind of knowing, like based on my driving, whether they'll be sliding or not. Alright, I'll do one more lap here and then I'll share my screen. Yeah, you don't remember which had the high side actually. Really quick. You don't really want to counter steer, but this setup, the fix setup here, and the track is very. It's a hard combination. It's almost impossible, I would say, to go fast and not counter steer. And you know how to see screen share in Discord.
Yeah.
So first of all, your lap time is not far off compared to your experience level. You're only like 7/10.
Okay. When you say experience,
And just like time on the sim, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Alright, so the first thing that is key with, so like right now, pretty much every car on a 1.5 miles, whether it's the Cup, Truck, or Xfinity, you almost never have to brake. And like, how long have you been kind of a NASCAR fan, if you even are?
I'm a pretty big NASCAR fan. I went to my first race in 2019. I watched it ever since like 2000 or 96 on and off when I was like 5 years old, 6 years
Yep.
old.
Gotcha.
But then I've been watching every week now and stuff. And I've probably passed 10 years.
Sweet. So you got to see the high horsepower when they used to
Yes.
have what I think is much better of a car than they got now.
Oh, for sure.
But so yeah, back then you had to brake on every 1.5 miles, and it was beautiful. Anyhow, so now almost every car you don't have to brake at all, and I don't even lift fully at most 1.5 miles. So like here, when I go into the corner, the first thing to kind of pay attention to is a lot of people, when they lift, they just lift straight out of it. And if you notice my lift here, it's kind of like gradual down there.
Okay.
Like it's still fast, because the one important thing in racing is everything, like especially in a coaching session, things I talk about, like they happen so fast, but it's those details that's going to end up making you like a really great racer.
Okay.
So to be able to, like, even though if I play this at full speed, my lift is going to look pretty rapid down here.
Okay.
But that is still gradual compared to just like straight up the pedal. Alright, but yeah, I do keep some throttle in it here on entry. And that's really to stabilize the car a bit, because another reason is if you fully lift out of it right away, really big thing is a weight transfer in these cars.
Okay.
So if you are fully on the gas and then all of a sudden you go off the gas, that's going to throw the weight around. So like in your car and the real world on the streets, like if you're on the gas and then you just lift off, like your head kind of moves. And if you brake, like your head will move forward if you brake really hard suddenly.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. It's essentially like you want to treat the car pretty much like a baby and not like disturb it and toss it around a corner entry.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then same thing on exit, just kind of progress your way up to full throttle, even though you still want to do it quickly, but not all in one motion. And then 3 and 4 is pretty much the same as far as throttle application goes. And the line, when you're saving tires, so what we'll focus on now is just to run the bottom the whole lap.
Is that normally for most 1.5 mile tracks? Is the front and the bottom the same tires?
Yep, every single track, short track, 1.5 miles, 2 mile, it's always going to be the bottom for saving tires on, at least on Iracing. Some of the 1.5 miles in real life, for example, at Kansas, I believe they prefer the top to save tire.
Interesting. Okay.
Alright. So the one thing that and this usually is a little nitpicky, but for me, I think it really helps paint the picture. So when I lift off the throttle, I'm at, or when I lose a mile an hour, 186 down to 185 right here. So in my cockpit view, I always find a marker. So I guess this little RV here, it's kind of at the front, 2 windows there. And if I look at your onboard for your best lap, when you first lose mile an hour, that's weird here. It goes 184 and then goes back up to 185 and then down again. So I'll use this one. It's like I was lifting when this bar was back there, which would be right back here.
Gotcha. So I'm driving the corner too hard.
Yep. So the first thing, when you go run laps again, the first thing is to try to lift a little bit earlier.
Okay.
And I will see how much we slow down though. So the caution light, when it's right here, we're at 175. Actually, I'm going to look at a couple things. 175 with the first light, second caution light, right when it goes behind the mirror at 164, 175 and 164. So first caution light, I'm at 179. So then the difference here is even though I lift earlier into the corner, I don't lift as much as you. I still have this throttle in it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm maintaining more speed on entry here. And the second you're 164 and the 167. So a smaller difference between our speed, but it's still just the maintaining more throttle. I did get down to 164 after that. That's were you a fan of Harvick by chance when he was still racing?
I'm more of a Hendricks guy. I was a Gordon fan, and then transferred to Chase, and after Chase got hurt a little bit, I'm a bit more of a Byron.
If you're a Chase fan, you're definitely not a Harvick fan.
Yes. I was actually at the Bristol race when Harvick and Chase got into it together.
Oh, that was a tragic race. Anyhow, this is Keelan, Kevin's son.
No way.
Yeah, I coach him actually on the sim, like off and on the last year and a half, whenever he's not busy, since he's doing a ton of Legends racing and other stuff.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yep, and for me the surreal part is Kevin was my idol ever since Dale died in 2001. Mm-hmm. I was a little kid and I was in first grade then, and my parents said I cried more when Earnhardt died than when my grandparents died.
Really?
Because they died months apart.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I was a big Dale fan, so I just transitioned straight to Harvick, and now I
still remember
have that too. Oh yeah, and now I have this relationship with Kevin and his son. It's
awesome.
All because of Iracing.
It's crazy.
All right, so now regardless of speed and entry, just looking at our line difference. So the one thing for sure I want to do is maximize the track usage. It's on corner entry, you want to be as close to the wall as possible. Mm-hmm. And in a race situation, if I were to go back and look at my own race and critique myself, I honestly would want to be even closer than this.
Okay.
And then straight down to the white. Again, I would want to be closer than that. Let's see if I did a better job on one of these laps. And then straight up to the wall and exit. This part you seem to do pretty good, so. straight down to the white, and straight up to the wall. So let's see. So on entry, like right here, this space. So while that may not seem like a lot, the difference it's gonna make on corner entry is a lot, because like at this point, I'm like turning down the track towards the white line and like a nice smooth arc. So I have a bigger arc into the corner, which means my car is going to be more pointed when I hit the apex.
Okay.
And if you're entering a little bit straighter like this, you gotta have more wheel into it as well to get down to the white line with that straighter entry.
Okay.
So then that's going to end up hurting your right front tire throughout a run if you do that every single lap. And then yeah, we just want to get down to the white, which this track definitely can be challenging to get right down to it because of all the bumps. And then for what it's worth on the backstretch, you always just want to kind of stay, you can use the seam for reference, stay above the seam.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a little bit like I want to get stuck to the wall, so I can like back off of it. But
Yep, no, definitely. That's going to be more of your just getting seat time and practice, because once you are like really comfortable with the monitor you got and your wheel and everything, and then you'll be able to tell like exactly how close you are.
okay.
It's like I only have a single monitor, for example, so.
Oh, really?
Yep. Do you have triples or a
Yeah,
single?
I got triples.
Nice. So yeah, you're better off than me. But with my single that I'm so used to, like I can just get within like probably an inch or two of the wall and know pretty much exactly.
Because you see that little lip on the hood, and you know kind of what little line it needs to be on.
Yep. And just like from my cockpit view, like where I'm sitting, the wheel, like it's like kind of tough to explain. It's just from all the seat time, I just kind of know I can judge that distance from where I need to run on the track. My like FOV here.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to stay up there so we have then the same thing, a nice right up against the wall, which gives us a better arc into the corner. And especially in turn 3, right about here, there's a ton of bumps. So when you go out and you try to get right down to the white, you're going to hit those bumps a lot, and it's not going to be easy. So don't feel bad if you aren't able to get down there. Otherwise, I mean, your line in general, it's like moving down half a lane here to the white, entering just like a third of a car width higher. Your line is fine. It's more so your
entry.
Yeah, and then just keeping a little bit of throttle in it. And then it'll just come down to being confident enough to roll into the throttle and get back to full throttle earlier in the corner.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the. So this was on cold tires when you got really loose here in 3 and 4. This was my my onboards. You can see my wheel. I'm gonna be sawing on it way too much right there. So yeah, that's completely normal, and we just have to expect that. It's like lap 1 of a race on especially bumpy tracks like this. You're gonna expect it to be loose and just be way more patient on throttle. Alright, so now let me see. Actually, let me look at my faster laps. Son of a gun. Alright, so the yellow line here, I'm pretty much just past that. Alright, so if you want to run laps, and then I'm gonna, actually let me restart this session quick. That's why AI is beautiful. We got another, like it's a 1 hour session, but I can restart as much time as I want, and then not have to like pay.
Oh, nice.
Alright, so yellow here. So see if you can run laps and enter the corner above my car
Okay.
and lift, and also use this as a lifting point. This should be pretty much where I started to lift. This is what my go-karting coach when I was little used to do. He used to put only cones
I was gonna say.
on track, but sometimes he would actually stand on track himself. Just tell me not to run him over. And just run your normal line on the straightaway too, so like down to that white line in the trioval, and then nice smooth arc up around me. But the second you get around me, you should be like focused on that white line, getting down to it. I bet the AI is gonna freaking hit me though. Didn't think about that. All good. Your arc down to the white line seemed perfect from what I could tell. This view. You mean like turn down too much, or? That's actually like that. Look, did you touch the apron? Or? Gotcha. But that's actually a common thing, I guess, because a couple other people I've been coaching, they like what they're struggling with is on entry. Like they're going straight, like on the straightaway, and then when they go to turn into the corner, they almost like turn a tiny bit to the right and then back down to the left. So it's like they want this wider arc. Yeah. I mean the seam is a good reference. I'm moving forward just a little bit, so this time lift before, like right before you get to me. And then, since I move forward a tiny bit, maybe that'll help with the arc. Holy hell, this AI almost destroyed me. Are you getting loose on entry at all, or just do you think you're just turning down a bit too aggressively? Gotcha. I'm gonna readjust after you go by this time. That looked like your best yet. Looks like you washed up a little bit after, but still had the initial entry fine. Might be if you're not lifting it enough, if you're trying to keep that throttle in it, like I said. Alright, so now I'm pointed different, so this might let you be able to see the corner entry a little bit better. Oh, good. I'll look at it after this too. When I'm in this position, I can't really see once you pass me. Alright, I'm gonna look at your laps here. you happen to use any brake at all, or was it all just lifting?
A little bit.
Are you on my screen by chance?
I'm watching.
Alright, so it looks like you're second guessing yourself a bit, so like
Sounds about right.
it's like, oh, that's fine, and then the only thing I would say is, like right here, you can kind of tell you're pointed into the corner. Oops. Oh yeah, I changed this. Alright, so you're pointed into the corner. Really nice.
Okay.
Like you can kind of just see if there's an imaginary line here. Based on the angle of your car, you kind of be following it right like that, getting right down to the white.
Okay.
And then right here, you straighten out your wheel. So it's like you second guess, like you were turning down and you thought like, I might be missing my mark, I might be going under the white line and turning too much. But I mean, this looked really good up until that point. So I think if you held it, it would have been really nice there. And then let me see. One lap where you hit the apron. Yep, so I think this might be honestly a lot of your experience in a controller in NASCAR Heat.
Okay.
Just because like on those games you kind of just like jam your thumbstick, you know, to the left to turn. It's like on here we want to like this is really kind of simple to fix. Hopefully, like your wheel input is just too much here. Like
Gotcha.
this is the most pretty much we ever want to turn the wheel, and that's going to be in the center of the corner.
Okay.
So let me see. I'll have to do another lap since I restarted it, but I'm gonna quickly show you the difference in wheel input.
You got the black flag. You didn't exit the pits safely. You have to drive through the pits without stopping.
So on my entry here, the other thing I have to look here is, but really this entire trial oval, we want to like barely move this wheel. Like just focus on this orange tape, like it's just kind of smooth and steady. So when I'm entering my initial turn-in point, so like from the center down to here, so I guess it is going to be earlier than center. We don't want to, I want to see. Ideally, we don't want to go past this red line.
Okay.
And that's kind of a rule of thumb I've noticed in all of my like coaching sessions when I look at my wheel compared to other people. My orange tape almost never goes below this red and white line. But again, like when you were entering, it looked exactly like this, and then right here you turned a little bit to straighten out, and that just ruined your center out. Alright. Oops. Are you comfortable, by the way, with the steering ratio? Have you ever changed it?
I've changed it every once in a while, but I just never really knew what I should be doing, I guess.
Did you just keep it as 12 for this one?
Yeah, I never touched it.
And then you have 900 for your wheel and map range?
Yes, 900.
Gotcha. That's normal. Don't.
Yeah,
I'm an oddity when it comes to settings.
And that's what it was with that was posted on that group. And then yes, 12.
Gotcha. Alright, so then for like the front stretch, for example, here when you're moving the wheel a bit, like right there is fine, but like right there, that little, right here, how you turned it down this much, you can even probably see. So like it kicks through and out a little bit when you do that.
Oh, okay.
So that very small movement, like this is very nitpicky, but
It's alright.
but and it's not just you. Like trust me, the straightaways are some of the like most difficult parts sometimes for like some of the people I coach, because they, especially like on back stretches, they tend to go like a lane off the wall and then go back up to the wall, and so if you can manage to keep it very, very smooth to the white line and have a nice, very smooth line up to your entry point and then down into the corner. Alright, and then this part, only do this if it doesn't mess you up. Because some people, when I tell them this, they focus on it too much, and it's not 100% necessary, but it's kind of what every like racing school teaches. Let's see if it'll rewind. Alright, so when I'm approaching the corner here, so I want to hit the white line in the center right at the start-finish line.
Okay.
So right now my eyes are looking here,
Okay.
and now when I get close to it, like I know I'm going to hit it by this point, so now my eyes are ready all the way up here.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I know this is where my next point that I'm going to have to hit is. So I'm like focused on that, and I kind of know probably by here that I'm angled and I'm going to be like right up against the wall. So the second I'm getting close to it, I'm refocused on like looking into the corner.
Okay.
And that's mainly taught in like road course racing schools, like Skip Arbor and any go-karting for kids. They always use the phrase BLT, like a sandwich.
Okay.
Which stands for brake, look, turn. So first, obviously we don't need a brake here, but like in a road racing car, you would brake, and then you would look, like turn your head into the corner as you're braking, and then you would turn after you're already looking with your head turned.
Okay.
And so maybe that'll help as far as just hitting marks and being smooth on this straightaway and hitting your corner entry point. But if you want to run laps together now, and then you can follow me and just try to stay exactly on my tire marks if you can.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. Like if there's someone that's a lot quicker than I am, I'll see that and I'll try to run behind them. And then like half the time they just end up like crashing anyway. So I'm like,
And then we'll go purposely, I'm gonna go slow here, like a couple seconds slower, just so you can really focus on the line. I'm just gonna get rid of some of these AI. Let's go off. Alright. So I think there's just gonna be one AI we gotta deal with. I'm gonna try to go like 150 miles an hour pretty much the entire way around the track. And if you find it hard to just like hold a smooth wheel, even on a straightaway, that's, again, I would say just seat time and getting really, really used to your equipment and comfortable with it. I'm trying to just hold like half throttle so it's a bit over 150. Hold this. Yeah, go here.
Inside. Clear inside.
Alright, I'll go a little bit faster now this lap. That was a 35-second lap. We'll try to hit like a 34. You can stay as close to me as you want here, and within like 2-3 tenths is fine. Try with your foot on the throttle to hold like the exact same position, like don't even move your foot, just hold it at about, I think mine's maybe 2/3 down, 60% around there. On the throttle. So I'm going about 160 in the corner, which is close to the minimum speed we would hit when we're actually pushing. We would hit like 164. So if at first you can focus on right now just the steering, just leave that foot where it is and see if you can hit that line. You get loose there. Gotcha. Use the seam as your reference there. Like, don't be looking at the wall and trying to like get close to it. Just look at that seam, and as long as you're above it, then you'll be fine. Alright, so now let's try going full throttle on the straightaway here. And then I'm gonna lift in 3, 2, 1, lifting to about the third throttle. And then slowly working our way up. Full throttle now. I think racing is like the toughest sport to coach. It's like every other sport, things are easier to slow down, I guess. Like, I don't know, when you're shooting a basketball, like your elbow angle and all that, you can kind of set that before you shoot the ball and focus on it. But in racing, it's like you gotta do it in the split moment. Something good you're doing, by the way, is when you miss the weight line, you're not like forcing yourself to get down there. Because if you miss your mark, and I'll show you in this corner. Gotcha. Here we can pit this lap and look at some things. Definitely not making this. For what it's worth, you ran your fastest lap so far.
Seriously?
During that. Before you hit the second to last lap, you hit a 32, 37.
Wow. I guess they say you gotta slow to go fast.
Alright, what am I doing here? Oh, that's why. Because I was wondering why some of your lap times here. Yep, and then I forgot we're in Q. Alright, let's. So this is when we were still going slow. So like this was really good here on entry. You like got down. The only right here, like that's perfect. Like from my, like it looks almost the exact same.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if you see, like your left front, that is like what you want in racing, to be painting that line as they call it on TV. You might hear the broadcaster say that. So you got right down to it, which is the exact same thing pretty much I was doing here. So the only difference is, I think, because you're not used to being on, like literally on the weight line, right there, you kind of like straighten the wheel a little bit because you thought maybe you would hit the apron.
Yes.
So that's where it's going to come down to like repetition. So like if you do like an AI race for fun or something, or if you do a B fixed like at this track, and at this point, by the way, in your iRacing career, if you want to call it, I wouldn't really focus on iRating or anything. So if you like do a B fixed, just do it for fun and try to learn, and whatever your iRating ends up being, then it ends up being there, and you can focus on that later on. Because really, the only reason you need a higher iRating is if you're gonna want to go to try to make pro, and otherwise it's just gonna naturally climb as you get more practice and learn.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this is, you got to line perfect and then just had a little doubt, and I think, and straightened the wheel, and that's why you got off of it a little earlier. But then you had a nice exit all the way up, so that was really good. So this is kind of the same as before when I was kind of parked in the track and you had some abrupt entries. So if you look at slow motion, like if you focus on my car at first, it's more like just smooth down and you were following it and then you turned a little. It's like right here following it perfect. See? And then here you turn your wheel just a little bit and that yanks the car to now you're underneath where I am.
I turned the,
And
I turned the wheel left or right, sorry.
Left a little too much. Because like see, when we're entering the corner here, like you are pretty much in my wheel tracks. Like you're kind of lined up with my rear end right here, and then right here. Look at that tape. It moves farther to the left, and now you're cutting underneath my line.
Gotcha.
It's like on that corner entry, like I had a smooth line down to the white, and you were until that little just tug of the wheel, and that cut you underneath. So then the result of that is then,
And then wash up.
yeah, because you cut underneath, then you had to either, your option was to, at this point, because at this point you're a little too low to hit the apex, which is like right around maybe this caution light, we'll call it, around here. So because you're going to hit it too early, your option is either to lift a little bit more and use more wheel input to hold the white line, or you're going to end up washing up like this.
Okay.
It looks like I just brake checked the hell out of you there. That looked really good. Your whole line, a little bit of that same situation where you tug the wheel, right here you're kind of in my tracks, and then you pull a little bit earlier than me. But you held it there, and see, so this is actually a really nice example. So that corner entry, you can see you're following me nice, and then when you pull low, now when I talked about the options you had to lift and then use more wheel input. So here it looked like you didn't lift, but you did have more wheel input. So what that did right there is it brought the rear end around. Because now you're trying to like kind of force the car. So instead of having a natural angle right there. What was that?
What caused that again? I'm sorry. Because I lifted.
Because you had too much wheel in it without lifting. Because right here, our line is a bit off, so you're just a little bit low, which means to compensate, you had to put more wheel in it to hold the white line. So right there, when you put more wheel in it, that's when the rear end kicked around.
Gotcha.
So it's very, very delicate over the bumps here. That was a very, very smooth corner right here. You didn't get all the way to the white, but you still held your line the entire corner. That was nice. This is still just a bit too much wheel input to turn into the corner.
Gotcha. Sit up a little bit more.
Like when I'm live in the on track.
No, like this camera review, or like when we're looking at it right here.
Oh yeah. We can actually see exactly. So my driver height is 1.2 inches. It's in your options,
Yeah.
bottom left.
I'll take a picture. I want to look at that.
And that can kind of depend on your like monitor it's and everything, just how, I don't know how big they are. For me, this is just kind of
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking, because when I see that wing nut that you have right there, and I'm like, all right, I'll watch mine as I go, and I sit lower because I can't see that wing nut. If that makes sense.
yeah. I think my height is kind of based off the next gen car where the gauges are. So like if I pretend I'm on track right now, I can't use my mouse, of course, but So the gauges on the Xfinity are much different, but that dash on the Cup car, I have it where I can just see like everything I need to see.
Gotcha.
But I like to be higher up just because it lets me just see, I guess, more of the nose of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm gonna have to restart the replay, I think. Alright. So then at speed here, your best lap. So you got perfect here, by the way, if you want to see that. I think it's always really cool to like look back and see just exactly how close you are to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very beautiful. And then you had no abrupt move on an entry, so that was very good. You turned down. I know you didn't get to the white line, but the part that I like is you held your line. So like you only got here, and you held this all the way through the corner until it was time to like go up to the wall for exit. That's what I mentioned when we were on track, because when I saw that, you don't want to, because I have a couple people I coach that if they miss the mark, then they'll like jerk the wheel down because they think like, oh, I have to be in the white. But because you missed it, so like at this point, you kind of already know that you missed it because of the speed you're carrying. You can feel the car is not going to want to turn. So you almost just refocus and you just accept that this is the line I'm going to run. So that was really good. And it looked like pretty much the exact same thing there. Nice smooth line, just not quite to the white. And I would say the only speed difference, because I think we can probably run. It's kind of tough to tell because he went so slow here on tires, but probably a high 31 would be optimal here.
Okay, nice.
So it's only a couple tenths off, and I think the only speed difference is just the amount of throttle they were keeping in it. So if you remember, like our low speed before is 164, and here we're at 154.
Gotcha.
Alright, so I think, 1 second, gotta take a sip of water. I have a very weak voice.
You're all good.
Alright, do you want to do one more, like run a qualify and follow me, or do you want to do it straight into a race?
Whatever you think is best, I'm down for whatever.
How much time do you have? I know we're already at the hour mark.
Got as much time as you got, so I
Alright,
appreciate the extra bonus.
any session you book with me after this, or any of them, I never really look at time. It's just however long it takes.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yep.
there's a couple people in my group that I was going to tell them about this, so if they're interested, I'll point them your way.
Sweet. And I was trying to come up with something with Conti where it's like a mentorship program, and it would be like, it's like of this, I think, I don't know what I put it at, 40, 45 an hour, and then instead it's like 40 or 45 a month.
Oh.
But then that gives you like 2 coaching sessions, and I could be like your live spotter and crew chief for a race to kind of live coach you through a race.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Plus like unlimited text support. If you have any questions, you can always message me.
Absolutely. No, I like that idea. If you end up running with that, let me know.
Definitely. I just gotta work it out and get the details down. I'm actually gonna do another lap, and if you want to just watch my screen,
Oh, okay.
I'm just. Yeah, I was gonna look at Patreon. I heard. I've never used that or know anything about it really, but yeah, I'll have to figure something out. Alright, so whatever you think is most helpful to you right here, maybe look at my throttle input on the bottom left, just to kind of Do you see my mouse, by the way? On the screen share? Or on the Iracing sim? Are you looking?
Oh, look at the Iracing. Duh. Alright, yeah, you're right. I was watching.
That's what I need. I need to start streaming and get all those monitors. Alright, so yeah, whatever. I would look at throttle input maybe for 1 lap. Does your wheel fight you much on the straightaway, like on the backstretch? So if it, that could be a good kind of references. So on the front stretch it feels pretty smooth when you're on the backstretch again. So there's like some bumps on the backstretch and like my wheel, I can feel it kind of like want to move, but it's not nearly enough to make my hands actually move. So if it actually makes your hand kind of move, then maybe turn your force feedback down just a little bit and see if that helps with any of your... That could also be why you kind of jerk the wheel a bit on entry, especially turn 1, there's a big bump. When you kind of, I don't even know if it's a bump, it's really like you dive into the corner. And when you... yeah, should also have, I think, some type of profiler with Moza, whatever it is. Moza. It's like right, like even my little Logitech, it kind of wants to jerk around on entry, but not nearly enough to like upset the car or like force me to do something I don't want to do with the wheel. In turn 3 or turn 1? Gotcha. I don't think I fully lifted, but I'm gonna go through it again here and just see. It looks like I'm running high 31s there, so the top, by the way, is definitely the place to run at this track in the long run. But
so when you do a long run like that, do you run the bottom line for a little bit and then you move up, or do you start at the top? I guess it depends with tire-wise.
I always start on the bottom for like every mile and a half, and for at least 15, sometimes 20, sometimes 25 laps. It just kind of depends on the car and the setup and
Gotcha.
even the race. Like if it's a Class C race at Las Vegas, for example, I think this week those are 80 laps. So if it goes caution free, you split it and do 40 lap runs. So I would probably run the bottom for like 15 laps, and then I think the middle is faster. So that I might move up and just have the last half of my stint in the middle of the track. And then the Xfinity car at Vegas was a ton of fun, and you can run like inches off the wall in turn 3 and 4, and that was fastest. And I would go up there after like 25 laps because we would run about a 50 lap run. So
Gotcha.
kind of like half your stint, whatever you're gonna have lengthwise for that stint, I would run on the bottom to save tire.
That makes sense.
Trying to see if there's any final things I missed before we do a little race, and then we can look at tire wear too and analyze that.
Beautiful.
Maybe. Do you want to stay with this setup, or do you want to try the Team Conti Chicago setup, which would definitely be more stable?
So I've never ran a setup, so I don't know how to do it, but I can. Oops. If you want to walk me through what kind of do that.
Yep, I just shared it to you. So in your garage, all those red boxes on the right side, go to shared setups, the second one, and you should see it, and then just double click on it, and then it should be loaded in, and you'll be ready to go.
So I go to garage and then shared.
Yep, and you should see.
Everyone.
Yep, the one I shared to everyone, and then after you double click it, it should be in your car, and then.
Oh, stock car 2. No. Shared setups. Other.
And then when you click down and get out of the garage, underneath the picture of your car, it should say setup.
Identical to Matt.
Yep. Yep, perfect. Alright, so let's run a couple laps here quick on this, and then we'll do the race. And this will just... because I want to focus on like your smooth entry, and trying to fix that problem where you kind of abruptly turn in. So I think this setup hopefully should help that, make it a little bit easier to focus on doing that. Still gonna be a mess here in cold tires 3 and 4. To the point where like no matter what, it's gonna kind of turn on you, like the force feedback. Gotcha. You just ran a 31.9, by the way. Part of that is. Most of that is just the setup being better than the Iracing setup, but still, it's a 4/10 pickup, and the setup is not 4/10 faster than the fixed setup, so. Let's curious if we turn down your force feedback just a little bit here. So in the iRacing options, go there first, and then wait, where's max force?
Drive options.
So what's your strength at?
Yeah. Oh. I didn't know you could click different ones. Strength is 10.9.
Gotcha, and then your wheel force?
My wheel force is 9. You got 2.
Yeah, this is just tailored to me, but I mean 9, so that's. I mean, I got mine checked in auto. I don't even know what the I don't know, it's been years since I've touched my settings.
Yeah,
But I
cool.
do think, is your intensity, by the way, well, you got this from Conti, right?
Yeah, it's 100. Maybe knock that down.
Yeah, let's try 50% maybe for intensity.
Okay.
And then maybe take the strength down to, you're at 10 something, just
Yeah,
maybe put
why
it
not?
down to 9. And then the wheel force, can't remember. I think it's actually the higher number is less or something goofy. So maybe let's just do strength and have that down to 9, intensity at 50, and see if that helps.
Okay.
Alright, and let's see if you can do a 30 lapper here, or however long you want, and see if what our tire wear looks like. So that's kind of the final thing to
Perfect.
take note of and work on in future races.
How often do you warm up your tires?
1 to go. Next time by. Line up on the outside. Pit
Do you
road
find
is
that
closed right now.
Or is it more for show?
It does help. It's more.
Advanced.
It's not like super important though. It's more for qualifying, I would say, because if you are doing it in the race, I don't know. It's kind of tricky because you can actually hurt your tires if you swerve too hard. So when you do it, you want to kind of do like smooth and wide weaves.
Okay.
But I actually never really do it in this car. The next gen you can do it, and it'll kind of help for if you have short runs. But that's kind of like one of those things that Iracing doesn't have 100% realistic, because in real life, like, you always want to do that mainly to like clean your tires as well, but it doesn't really matter if our tires get dirty per se. Like if there's marbles on track, it's not as big of a factor as it is in real life.
Gotcha.
So it works to get heat in them, but it could also hurt them for long runs. So I guess we gotta sit in this grid since I DQ'd some of those AI. Definitely don't do what the AI just did.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Catch the pace car.
Yes, if you do it, I would normally just do like this. I don't do anything like this, or yeah, getting heat in the tires is the most annoying thing for Coke Series qualifying. We have to do so much stupid shit to heat up the tire. Like if you bounce your car, so like on the apron, if you like do this, like get the left front to bounce and do that, that gets like more heat in it than anything else. You have to like bounce, but you can't touch the apron, so you gotta find all these little tiny bounces and try to do that without getting a black flag. Ridiculous. Why are we slowing down here, guy?
Green, green, green. Pit road is now open. The next car's the leader.
Second gear. It'll depend on the setup of track, but that one I believe was a second gear start. I'll lead here for like 10 laps and then let you take the lead. Oh, good. If you do get the wall damage, is off. If you feel like your wheel, by the way, is way too light with that intensity change down to 50%, then we can put it back up. It'll depend how much it's stepping out, but if it's just a little, then I'll probably still keep the throttle in it, but I won't be increasing my throttle. I'll be like just holding it wherever I was when I felt it get out of shape. So like here, I'm not lifting fully out of the throttle at all this whole 30 lap run. Actually, it might fully lift as we get older tires, but for now we're not fully lifting, so if it steps out on you, I would just kind of like freeze your foot, whatever throttle input you're at, and then go back to increasing the throttle input once you feel that rear is stabilized. It looked like he had a little too much speed on entry that time. You're doing a lot better than the beginning of the session, by the way, so just because you don't get to the white line doesn't mean you're failing or anything like that, so. And it's not, like the other thing about learning and racing is everything is gonna sound simple, like oh, just go and turn down to the white line and hold it there, but it's not at all simple, so. Never anything outside of mini golf. Yep, so it'll be the same thing. And remember, this is a bumpy, low grip track, so if we do something like, I don't know, Vegas or Texas or whatever, it might be a bit smoother and easier to hold that white line. Try lifting just a tiny bit more on entry, because it looks like you keep catching me to the center of the corner. Yep, and then by lifting a bit more, that should let you get down to the white line easier. and then it's just going to be all about being more aggressive on throttle and exit, but still smoothly aggressive, if that makes sense.
The leader is running 33.177.
Looked like just not enough lifting and entry there, because you got down the right line, but too fast. Remember, we're getting towards lap 15 here and so our pace is going to be slower. We have to lift a little bit more than on fresh tires. So at this point, we pretty much want to be lifting as much as possible without fully lifting. It's like I only have 10% throttle in it maybe. Yep. You can be full throttle like pretty soon after the apex, like half a second or so past it, but just with the speed we're running in the center of the corner and out, because we have to lift like a fair amount here, get all the way down into the 150-mile-an-hour range. At that speed, we can floor it pretty easily and have grip on exit. Yep, and if that happens, then that's good that you're staying up there. Like I said, just refocus on a new line. It's always been the dream, I just never had the money. but I am later this month actually. On March 23rd, doing my first ever real race it's this like short track series called the Grand National Super Series, and it's they use like Gen 4 style NASCARs, so like cup cars pretty much from the mid 2000s. Yep, so it's my first ever time in a race car is going to be at over 850 horsepower. And no test days prior to it, just one practice session, qualifying and race. Great. Yeah, it's actually on Flow Racing, because it's the Cars Tour late model race is going to be at the same track that day, so we're kind of like the opening series for that. Yep, should be a Saturday, I think. much, you can pass me. And for the last 10 laps,
Inside.
follow you.
Clear inside.
And don't mind me in your mirror. That's gonna be following, it won't be passing. Are you in the Midwest with that Culver's sponsorship?
Good to go. Still alive.
Gotcha. I'm in the Chicago suburbs, so I've got Culver's all around here. Yep. Their custard is the best. Try fully lifting now, just for a little bit. Fully lift, and then I'll actually tell you when I'm gonna be back on throttle next corner. So fully lift, and I'm back on throttle already. It's just at that like 10 to 20% throttle. Still no brake, by the way. Sometimes it can. I don't, and it might be needed here, just depending on how fast you're going. If you're really hauling the mail, but I don't think we need to use it at all.
Leader is running 33.38.
Make sure you get back on throttle, it's as little as possible
Good to go.
so you can still hold that weight line.
With some hardware.
When you get back on throttle, make sure it's just enough throttle to keep the speed in the car, but not too much so you don't wash up the track. And then try working. Good catch. Try working your way up to full throttle a little bit quicker than you are right now. Probably being, I'm gonna just back off here so I can run a lap and see, so we can compare after the race. But try being a little bit aggressive these last couple laps. Pretend it's like the end of a race and you're battling for the win or something. But still try to apply everything with smooth entry and easing into the throttle.
White flag to stay smooth. You're gaining on the car in front. The gap is 1.5 seconds.
And I come to a smooth stop if I can.
Alright, there's the checkered flag.
Just so we don't hurt the tires too much, and then we can look at tire wear first before we forget. The garage, and then just look at your right side, the first percentage for each right front and right rear.
61 right, 77 or back.
Gotcha. So
67.
my right front is 86, and my right my right rear is 85. So the right rear, we only have 8% difference, right? You said 77? Gotcha. And the right front, though, is a 25% difference, which implies that you're turning the wheel too much compared to me, or you're carrying too much speed at the center of the corner, which in turn is making you turn the wheel too much, or a combination of both. So
And that's
it's
exactly what we were talking about and figuring out if that's what we're doing. I was doing wrong.
so I'll look at I still got my screen share up if you want to look at that.
Okay.
So the last couple laps, when I was pushing all out here, so this is the first lap. So I didn't really know at this point how good my tires were or anything for the pace that I was about to run. So going into the corner, I still using the same principles. I'm gonna roll out of throttle instead of going from 100 all the way to 0. So I rolled out of it, and then when I get back in it, I'm at, I don't know, like a third throttle. And then right here, when I hit full throttle, the second I hit it, I immediately had to start counter steering a little bit, and I felt the rear end stepping around. So because of that, like before, it's to kind of freeze your foot, unless you're at full throttle, because at that point you can't really apply more throttle after that. Yep. So here I had to lift, but even with that lift, I didn't lift too much. It was just that much. And then same here with rolling out of the throttle, holding a little, and then working my way up, and like right. So you see, there's almost kind of stages to it. It's like I said before, everything happens so fast, it's kind of tough to point out. But like in slow mo here, so here, and then I kind of hold it here. If you see, like in this 5% range, and that whole time I'm holding it, I'm just kind of feeling out the car and waiting for it to basically tell me what it needs. So when I give it more throttle, that's because I can feel that the car is ready to like turn more. So I can give it more gas, and then I don't actually have to turn the wheel more because I'm giving it more gas. So that same wheel input, because I have pretty much the same wheel input where the orange tape is all the way until corner exit. So when I'm giving it more gas here, and then I hit almost the second stage, now I'm going to hold almost exact the throttle, like right around here, it seems, for a while.
Gotcha. So you don't kind of continually put more and more. You kind of get to, you go to the next stage, hang out there for a little bit, slowly go to the next stage, hang out there for a little bit.
Yep, and that's, like that is what I do, but that's not, like it's going to be really tough to consciously do that.
Gotcha.
Like I do that just because I've got however many tens of thousands of laps in Iracing, and I just have the feel for that. But yeah, that is, so like the second stage here is when I'm just waiting to feel the car gripped up. It's like here I'm counter steering, so that's why I'm waiting. And then when I feel that it has enough grip for me to floor it and make my way up to the wall, then that's when I go full.
Gotcha.
Smooth lift. Now this time, after my previous lap, I knew I had to be a little bit more patient. So I was hesitant right there, that like kind of second stage where I'm at almost full. I'm just wanting to get full, and then I finally get full.
Interesting.
But it's like if you go and try that your next lap, it'll be like you'll probably go here and then it'll skyrocket up to here, and then because you'll be thinking like, all right, I hold this, and now I have to give it more, so you like kind of stab the throttle. So
Jump to the next stage. Jump to the next stage. Jump to the next
Yep.
stage.
It's more so something you gotta like almost just tell yourself like, I gotta do this, but if it makes sense, like don't consciously focus on it. Just remember like the principles of like applying a little bit more until you feel it ready to turn and you feel it ready to grip up off the corner. And then after you run laps, then you can look and like review in like slow motion like this and see like, yeah, I was holding the throttle for a decent bit right around here.
Matt, dude,
Alright.
I appreciate it so much, man.
Yep, no problem. I just want to look at really quick one of your laps to compare here now. All good. Was this one I'm still following you? The laps when I told you to haul ass. Alright, so this lap. Yeah, this is the one you said was good. Yeah, that was perfect. So let's look at the best one and really quick.
Okay.
Analyze that. So it sounded like you drove in pretty deep. So I'm gonna guess this is a little bit later than when I left. So your first mile-an-hour drop is right here, which is almost perfectly lined up with this black mark on the track. And then the caution light when it goes out of view, or when it's in the corner of the screen up here. You're at 174. Second caution light. Last one in view, 153.
74 and 53.
Yep, and then I'm gonna see. So 150 was your low speed, and your first gain in a mile an hour. It's right here. Right there, which is this bar at the very end of whatever that says. Alright. So then my first drop was...
Oh, jeez.
It's like I was already lifting here, as you can see, but it didn't drop a mile an hour yet. So I'm lifting here, and you're lifting up here, so kind of the same thing as lifting earlier than you think you may need to. First caution light, you were 74. Also 174, so yep, that was perfect. Which to me, though, that tells me that you maybe lifted... Like I had this gradual lift, but because I lifted earlier and you lifted later, you're at the same speed though here, so I think you maybe...
Lifted harder.
Yep, lifted harder. I'm already in throttle here, so I'm probably... Yep, right when that's in the corner, I'm at 157, you're at 51 or 3.
53.
Yeah. And then my first gain in a mile an hour is...
6 miles an hour faster than mine.
Yep. And it is much later though, like I don't gain until here, and you gained at this white sign. But yeah, so based on that, it's kind of the same principle of just a little earlier lifts and then back in the throttle earlier, since you got down to 150 and I got back in the throttle earlier than you did.
Interesting. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And if you want... that lap I lifted on the straightaway there. But if you want, just let me know. I can always send you a replay too of any track or car combo you want, so you can have this throttle input.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
interested to see that kind of stuff for like Bristol. I know it's completely different to what we're doing right now, but
oh yeah, Bristol is a fun one to at least save tires and stuff. Like in the Cup car, I lift at the start finish line.
oh really?
Yep, at the start finish line and almost no brake at all at Bristol.
Wow. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking even 45 minutes longer than the hour.
All good.
But,
Whatever it takes.
I appreciate that. Yeah, let me know if you end up doing that membership, and after I practice, just even if you don't, well, I'll try to schedule something in the next month or two. Get this down and then go from there.
Yep. Are you gonna race any specific series, by the way, or?
I'm gonna wait till the schedule comes out, but probably just the Cup and then the Xfinity.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, it's week 13.
Yeah, it's week 13, so it's all messy this week.
Gotcha. Yeah, whatever track comes up, if you pick one out, then let me know. I can give you a replay or whatever you need.
Beautiful. All right, go get to Harvick's kid.
We'll see if he still needs me.
What kind of questions does he ask you?
Mainly he doesn't ask too many questions. It's more like I just kind of point out some things to him. A lot of it is racecraft at this point, because like sometimes he has to like, oh, it's just a sim, so if somebody races me a little dirty, then I'm gonna dump his shit the next corner. But no, he's like really, I mean, he's not like obviously super good at this like pro level, but he's still.
How old is he?
I think his I rating's only like 15 or 2000 or something like that, but he can
really?
definitely. Yep, but he didn't race much official, but I think he's around maybe like a 35 to 4500 caliber driver.
I was gonna say that sounds more accurate.
Yeah, but his big thing on here at least is racecraft. Like if sometimes he'll like be going into the corner and the guy in front will just be taking his line, and Keelan might be like half a car length behind him, but looking to the inside. And if the guy like cuts in front of him, he thinks he got cut off, but he didn't get cut off at all.
How old
But that's
is he?
just an 11-year-old. Yeah,
Oh,
11.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Yep. But he'll learn that. I mean, he's doing legends and stuff like that, so I don't think he has that issue in real life.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate the help. I'm gonna jump in and then take a quick break and then jump into some races and practices and try to work on all that stuff.
Yep, for sure. And remember, besides like all the driving tips and tricks I gave you, just the wheel settings. If you
That's right.
go to other tracks and you feel like the wheel kind of turns on its own and you can't really control it, then work that force feedback just a little bit down to the point where you can still control it and not have it jerk your hands around.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not that fit to be able to handle some of that intensity stuff. So, all right, buddy. Well, I appreciate it again.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take it easy. Have a good night.
Alrighty, you two have a good one.